Hello, puzzle combaters. Alright, so gonna do another closer look episode here. And I'm gonna go for Miss Astrid here. She was the first or the second 4-star hero that I got when I started the game, so I used her for quite a long time. Quite a long time, actually, and she was my tank for quite a while. So, let's see though. She has a C rating. So she's rated very low on defense and offense and the War Machine on Grak's list. I don't agree with all of that though, for sure. And I used her as tank for a long, long time because she can take a hit. She really can. Unfortunately, she is slow charge speed, so that is a drawback, which would give her a bit of a lower rating. And she's not great for the War Machines either by any means because she is an area of effect hitter that covers 3. So she's not a direct sniper or striker on the War Machine, so that is another bit of a drawback. And I did use her for a war team for quite a long time as well. So not only was she my tank for raids, she was on one of my war teams for quite a long time. So she definitely is very, very useful. Very useful. And let's see, so she is Demolitions class. Alright, what does Demolitions class do? Master of Explosives. So, she can remove buffs on the target when dealing damage. For an AoE hitter like she is, this isn't a bad thing to have because she can hit through the counterattackers, so your Ranas and your Flints, which is pretty damn handy actually. So it's kind of situational too though. So in those situations where you happen to have maybe a counterattacker, she can hit through it, which is good. I don't run into too many counterattacking heroes anymore at the level I am, but in my alt account I see them all the time. I see Rana and Flint tanks or flanks, one on each side of maybe a Bridget tank, so I do see it quite a bit. So if I had Astrid in my alt account, I would be leveling her up to use her for sure. So 4% chance all the way down, so that's a 12% chance. 20% chance to remove the buffs when dealing damage. And that's not bad either. Any remove buffs, there's a 15% multiplier to the damage done. That's alright too. And then you got the critical chance right here. I personally wouldn't put emblems on Astrid. If you're a free-to-play or cheap-to-play player and you don't do a lot of pulls though, and I probably would. Unfortunately, there is a lot of red heroes though in the game that are 4 stars that are really decent heroes and kind of end up outclassing her, as I'll show in a few minutes. But if you were to put emblems on her, then definitely go down the attack and defense side. So increase her attack and her defenses. Alright, so 268 damage to the target and nearby enemies, and plus she does a burn effect, which is good too. That is very, very effective. Okay, so let's go over some of the weapons options for her though, because there are some that I think increase her versatility quite a bit. And speed weapons do help her charge faster, so they do make her functionally faster. And that is a good thing on a slow hero. Alright, so Falcon Tech. Well, there you go, health gain. So that would certainly come in handy on defense. Alright, next red one. We got the Flashpoint. Burn damage that would stack with her burn damage. And hit 3 every time. Well, that is a nice perk to add to her. Well, you could also add poison to her burn damage with that one. That's effective too. And then, of course, if any other heroes happen to have the same weapons or the same status ailments, like who else does poison? Like Edge, right? And that'll stack. And then you got the Levy, that is armor per turn, so protecting her health. So not bad options for the master weapons for her, that's for sure. Alright, if you go to the regular weapons though, I guess I don't have the Tank Bane. The Tank Bane doesn't really thrill me too much, that's for sure. But I have the other 5-star red weapons. There's the Chekhov. And just because I want to find it, it's going to be the last weapon. Just about the last weapon. Alright, there's the Tank Bane. So resistance, not bad for defense. I mean, to me, this is a defensive weapon. I much rather use critical chance and speed weapons on offense. So if I did have a Tank Bane though and had Astrid in my defense, this isn't bad. And add the 85 health to help her out there. Alright, and the other 5-star weapons. The rest of the weapons I pretty much have in my arsenal. And I don't know if I still got a copy of this one or not. The waffle's just armor damage though. I usually sacrifice any of the waffles I get. I call it waffle. I know it's not actually waffle, but that's just what I say. That would be my L play speak coming through. Alright. So, critical chance and speed right here. So this is a good one for her. So the extra tile damage on offense, if you were to use her on offense. And then the speed. So she's 36, which is slow right now. And this would bump her up to 45, and it would shave a tile off of charging her up. So it's still 6 for ghosted tiles, but she would drop down to 11 instead of 12 for throwing tiles that hit enemies. So that's a good one for her. And then this one, critical chance and armor. 30% critical chance. I really like this weapon for that high of crit damage. Oh, I do have a copy of the waffle still. Okay. Dodge weapon, of course. Fantastic on defense. And certainly you can use it on offense as well. Then we got the Malgor. Is resistance. And then another speed weapon here. The Tigger. That does just put her in the 11 as well. So it'll shave a tile off. That just puts her past the break point to shave a tile off. So this one will help her as well, which is good on offense. And then what do we got for moss green? Health. And then we got the Manchester, which is critical chance on offense as well. So a defensive one with the health, offensive for the Manchester. Alright, I think that covers all the weapons there. So Now, I talked about earlier how there's others in this class and she kind of gets outclassed. Um, and that is unfortunate, but true. So I have two Astrids, and I barely ever use either one of them anymore. Um, I got several copies of her in the beginning, but had no other copies. Like, it took me forever to get a Talia. And a Paladin. He came way, way late. I didn't even keep a copy of Paladin here. I feed him away every time. So I will never ever level up a Paladin in this account. And it is because of these other lovely ladies, like Foxtrot, who is from the Grand Heist event. So she definitely outclasses Astrid, being average speed, and then the damage and the bleed. And if you put a the Chekhov, is it? A 5-star speed weapon on her, then she does get faster. She doesn't with the Tigger. She's still in the same class. But yeah, that makes her functionally faster. And then you got Calamity here, another event hero who is fast charging and does a fair amount of damage as well as an AoE hitter, just like Astrid and Foxtrot, but you're obviously going to want to use the average or the faster heroes over the slow heroes, and that's what happened here with me. Is I ended up getting all these reds that had better specials or were faster charging and just basically outclassed Astrid. So, and then of course I've got the zombies, which I like taking advantage of the family bonuses. So I use Spud with Lindsay, and again, so Astrid gets pushed aside. So that's something to keep in mind too. Like, I never thought I would get so many reds, but High Noon event hates me. This is the only one that I could ever draw as Calamity, and I've ended up with 6 or 7. So I've leveled 2 of them up, and then I've leveled 2 Spuds, and I have 2 Foxtrots. So that ended up not leaving much room for Astrid. So maybe one day, if SG introduces a way to trade them in, like some kind of a hero academy like they have in Empires and Puzzles, then maybe I would probably consider trading in the Astrids. But as it stands right now, they're going to stay on my roster, because I have put the promo mats into them. So it would be a little bit different if I hadn't have promoted them and used the materials on the promotions. But like this guy, I'm probably going to end up feeding him away because I didn't want to promote him. I delayed that, and so I haven't put in the higher end promo mats to this guy. I've left him stuck at 360. So I'll probably feed him away eventually. But yeah, with Astrid it's a little bit different because she ended up chewing up, between the two of them, 8 assault backpacks for the last promotion. But like I say, at the time I used both of them in wars actually, and I needed the depth with red. And then all of a sudden, as time went on, and now being a couple years into this, I've all of a sudden got all these other reds that are better than her that I find myself going to. So that's just something to keep in mind with heroes. And the vanilla heroes that are in the everyday summon gate, like we got the seasonal summon on now, but these vanilla heroes that are in the everyday summon gate, yeah, I'd be a little bit more cautious now about leveling up more than one copy of them, unless it was a really A plus rated hero like Vittorio or Aiko, who I still find I use all the time. But yeah, kind of wished I hadn't fully leveled both Astrids, but it is what it is. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you do a lot of pulls, you will likely end up with reds that will overshadow her for sure. So, alright, so that is a breakdown on Astrid. Honestly, the C rating and some of it is, right on, but in other things I don't think it is. Because I think she did well as tank for me for quite a long time. So, she definitely has her uses, and there are definitely weapons and different combinations that are good synergy for her and can make her quite useful. Astrid and Aiko, man, in the beginning they were on my defense and a lot of my attack teams, so those two A ladies were a sweet combination. They really were, because Astrid would go and hit 3 of them and do the burn damage on them. And then I had Aiko come along and steel charge from them and do more damage, 215% more for this one. Oh, that's my third Aiko. It's actually 235% damage to the target and nearby enemies, so plus the charge reduction. That was a wicked ass combination. These two A ladies did awesome for me to start out. So yeah, they helped me build quite a bit in the beginning. So it's just unfortunate there are a lot of other 4-star reds that are definitely handy. And yeah, Astrid's kind of sitting, taking up roster space for me now. But she does have her uses. So, alright, I hope that provides you a little bit more insight on Astrid there. And I will see you guys again.